on you.
Right now, Senator Josh Hawley is calling on the EPA to clean up Westlake Landfill in North County. It's one in a series of pleas the senator has made to the federal government, asking it to take action on the ongoing fallout from radioactive waste in our area. Thanks for being here at 4. I'm Kay Quinn. Brent Solomon is on assignment. Justina Coronel has been following our continuing coverage of radioactive contamination concerns in our area for over a year now. She joins me now with details on those cleanup efforts. Justina?
Yeah, okay, so just 24 hours ago, Senator Josh Hawley pressured an administrator with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in a committee hearing. He's pushing for cleanup at the Westlake Landfill, a Superfund site since 1990. Now, thousands of tons of radioactive waste from World War II were illegally dumped at the Westlake Landfill in 1973. And a smoldering underground fire was found in 2010 at the nearby Bridgeton landfill, which could threaten that radioactive material. Now, in 2018, the EPA said it had a final plan to remove that waste. But in March of this year, the EPA said the radioactive waste was more widespread than previously thought. And in May, the EPA announced the waste is mostly contained to a 200-acre site. For environmental activists like Don Chapman and Kristen Camuso, they say the federal agency needs to move quicker.
They're still doing soil samples, they're still collecting groundwater samples, so we still don't even really know how bad it actually is.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. We fought so hard to get a cleanup plan in 2018, and here we are almost 2024, and we don't have a shovel in the ground.
In May, the EPA held a public meeting in Bridgeton. At that time, the agency said it will move on to pre-cleanup work that will take months. The EPA website says the next step in the process is remedial design work, which is estimated to happen between July and September of next year.
All right, thank you, Justina. If you're planning to come downtown tomorrow, you'll want to add extra time to get where you need to go. I-44 and I-55 will both be closed in both directions at 11 o'clock tonight. Crews will be working on a railroad bridge over the interstate as MoDOT completes maintenance work. Detours will be marked and will mostly use Tucker, Choteau, 4th Street, and portions of Broadway. All lanes and ramps are projected to reopen by 4 p.m. Saturday. Well, after our cold snap earlier in the week, it's shaping up to be a mild, sunny weekend. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell here with the good news in the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, close to 70 degrees right now around the St. Louis area. Sun shines out there across the region at this point. We do have some high clouds coming in, and they'll continue to roll in tonight. It doesn't look quite as bright as we head into the weekend, but mainly dry weather this weekend and mild. Above average temperatures are expected. There's a look live down in Arnold right now with our weather camera showing you what should turn out to be a pretty sky for sunset tonight as these high clouds roll in and across the area. Coolest temperatures are off to the east and northeast of St. Louis, over towards Flora, up towards Litchfield, low 60s there. You get into the metro area, mid 60s in the metro east, upper 60s close to 70 across much of the rest of the metro area, and Jefferson City down to Lake of the Ozarks in the lower 70s right now. Yes, there are showers on the radar screen across northern portions of Missouri. Much of that rain not reaching the ground. You may have noticed this kind of chapstick weather. The air is very dry, and that limits our rain chances. That really will take us into this weekend. It's a mild weekend ahead for sure. Limited sunshine, especially tomorrow, but the rain chances are still extremely low going through the weekend into early next week. Kay, we'll talk about an even bigger warm-up heading towards next week in a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you, Scott. More than 50 protesters were arrested today inside a Senate office building. They were some of a growing number of people demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. It comes as Secretary of State Blinken is in Israel for the third time in less than a month. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
An urgent mission today in the Middle East as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken returned to Israel, trying to persuade its leaders to pause relentless airstrikes of the Gaza Strip to give time for hostages to get out and aid to get in. The secretary emotional over the toll on Palestinian children.
When I look into their eyes through the TV screen, I see my own children. How can we not
But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu left their meeting determined there would be no temporary ceasefire until Hamas releases all the hostages taken in last month's brutal terror attack. We now know unarmed U.S. military drones are flying over Gaza, helping in the hostage search, as the Pentagon steps up its defenses on U.S. military bases in the region amid recent attacks and fresh threats from Iranian-backed militias.
We are sending a clear message to Iran or to any other group that might want to widen this conflict to not do that.
Haven't we already seen the beginnings of this war widening?
Well, what I would say to that is we really have not.
Secretary Blinken has now arrived in Jordan to meet with regional leaders seeking to contain the conflict as Hezbollah in Lebanon threatens escalation. The Israeli military ready to respond. It says its ground forces have now encircled Gaza City. More Americans are making it out of the dangers and devastation in Gaza.
You're just happy your kids can now have a meal, see a doctor, sleep in a bed, not hear any bombs. I'm extremely relieved.
We will get justice for you.
While on Capitol Hill, dozens of protesters were arrested as they pressed for a ceasefire in the offices of several U.S. senators. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
As Secretary Blinken advocates for the protection of innocent Gazans, one area senator announced his support for a ceasefire. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin spoke with CNN's Poppy Harlow. When asked if a ceasefire was needed, Durbin said, quote, "I think it is." He is the first senator to back any call for a ceasefire. Right now, a local community is remembering those held hostage by the militant group Hamas. A Shabbat dinner is being set up with empty chairs in Clayton. Shabbat is a weekly day of rest for Jewish communities. The empty chair is in memory of and solidarity with those hostages. It's something Jewish communities nationwide are doing to demand the release of the hostages. The Shabbat dinner continues until 6 at the Enterprise Pavilion in Shaw Park. Breaking barriers and making the library a place for everyone. What St. Louis County libraries are doing with sensory bags. And it is do or die for City SC this weekend. Will the inaugural season come to an end for our MLS team?